start. So good morning, everyone. Thank you all very much for joining this webinar. My name is Mark Jackson. I'm one of the co-founders of TDeX, a UAE-based solution integrator serving the GCC region only. Our teams of consultants have vast experience across all the functionality of Microsoft Dynamics 365, including the traditional areas of CRM, ERP, and finance. But our focus today is on D365 Commerce, which replaced D365 Retail last year. Together with Redington, who can help with licensing requirements, we're a one-stop shop to get you up and running as quickly and as cost-effectively as possible. So just a few housekeeping rules before I hand you over to my colleague. We've put everyone on mute during the presentation, but we'll unmute you all at the end. So if you'd like to ask any questions during the presentation, please enter them in the Q&A window, and we'll try and answer as many as possible. We will be distributing these slides afterwards. So I'm now going to hand you over to my colleague, TDeX co-founder and lead solution architect, Narayan Solanki, who will explain how D365 Commerce brings in-store, e-commerce, and call center together in a complete and unified retail platform. Narayan, over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. And good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this presentation webinar. And we will be actually taking you through the journey of Dynamics 365 ecosystem, and specifically Dynamics 365 Commerce. So let's start. So what that Dynamics 365 and Power Platform ecosystem looks like if you are new to this one. So without spending too much of your time, let's quickly run through. So what that includes, so Dynamics 365 is like a family of plenty of other different unique systems, and it has a unique nature, what kind of functionality it provides. So if you look at in that chart at the moment, where you can see it provides a modern interface. It provides a unified interface. It's very intelligent and it's easy to adopt. What else is there? It's got the sales, it's got marketing, it's got customer service. Those are the CRM side of it. But you also have F&O, financial operation side, and that includes the one of the application we're going to review today is commerce. As Mark mentioned, it used to call retail before. Now it's just a new name. It's called Commerce, but with added new exciting functionality within that one. So what that fuss about? So why Commerce, and why is with the Dynamics 365 marketing? Dynamics 365 Commerce. So let's start the journey. But before we start, there is another additional adaptation here, in a Power Platform. So with Commerce and other CRM, we could get the extreme benefit from the Power Apps, Power Automate, Virtual Agent, and Power BI for the reporting purpose. So these are the elements. Power Apps and all this Power Platform is nothing but is a low-code, no-code platform provided by Microsoft to you, and it reduces dependency from the developers. But also, Power BI kind of intelligent tool actually help you with lots of reporting elements. So let's start. So what is Commerce? Well, why we talking too much about Dynamics 365 Commerce? And so what that includes, so it's a core module within that. So what it comes with, headless commerce engine. That is your core heart of the system, where your day-to-day requirement is there, where you actually maintain your products, maintain your orders, maintain your any sorts of integration with the external systems, flow your data, and so on. There are lots and lots of other elements involved. But what that traditional emerging channel are included within that. So what that connects to, it's a headless commerce engine, but also a head office engine. But also you can actually benefit from the other applications from Dynamics 365. So let me just start one example before I jump into Omni Embedded and how you can engage customers with that. So for example, I have a commerce engine adopted. I have e-commerce and all the elements been adapted, tightly integrated, where everything have an omni-channel, a seamless integration between all these first-party apps. If I want to implement, say for example, my sales team using a Dynamics 365 sales, or my customer service team using customer service module to manage day-to-day customer complaints and feedbacks, I can easily integrate with the Dynamics 365 command. And that's the beauty from Microsoft provided by Dynamics 365 ecosystem, that utilizing something called technically, it's called a dual copy. Using that, we could easily flow data between two separate SaaS offerings. So what this Dynamics 365 Commerce is about Omni embedded. So it's got the in-store experience. We got the call center experience. We got web. This is an e-commerce storefront. We also have a marketplaces where we can bring any third-party application or some sorts of niche developed application. We want to take benefit of it. We can bring that up. Social engagement. We got conversational elements. So it could be implementing like some sorts of custom insight or sales insight. And if we have time permits, I will include a small brief demo about it as well. So how the experience for the customers and business facing. So we have store clerks, which is traditional at the moment. So if you have stores, there are store workers where, or the store clerk, we call it, they're using POS, traditional point of sale system, to actually make a sell and complete end-to-end journey for customer. Now, that is something with the Dynamics 365 Commerce, we having a benefit of hosting that in cloud. So we don't have a traditional POS, but now we can actually change that to hosting into cloud. It solves a lot of problem, because I'm sure if anyone is managing stores right now, it's a lot of headache in terms of the establishing internal infrastructure per store, and plus managing rolling out their updates and all sorts of elements. So that can be eliminated by using a cloud POS. We have a customer and shopper that can get the experience from the web and the mobile platform. So nowadays, I'm not sure if you have heard of it. Forbes recently released that, the adaptation since the COVID-19 in terms of the e-commerce and mobile, particularly customer using mobile phone to placing an order, it has grown 200+%. So that's a huge, it's growing really fast, and it's been predicted by 2023 it will even grow further. So that's happy to share those links if anyone interested in reading those articles. So along with a consumer and the shopper, there is always a need of the customer service. So that experience is there. So I'll show you in the next slide, how those three key elements can work together continuously. There are two elements here which I'd like to just briefly describe about. So bots and virtual agents. So nowadays, people like to interact when they are customer. They like to say, they have plenty of questions. Oh, I like to place an order about this product. Can you explain about what this product is? I have placed an order, but I don't know when it's going to arrive, or I have missed an email or something. So there are all sorts of questions customer and shopper has, and that information is already stored within headless commerce engine or our cloud scale unit. So if it is already stored, why we want the customer service to just translate that information to customer? Why can't the bots do that initial briefing or initial interaction? Once that initial interaction is finished, and if customer still would like to speak to customer service representative, bot can really transfer that call or that chat conversation back to customer service representative, and also send the analytics, sentimental analytics and all sorts of details back to CSR. So when it's sent to CSR will know, oh, customer is happy or angry. Customer has a query about order. Customer has the order has been delayed, or blah blah blah. Whatever any sorts of discussion has been happened between the customer and the AI chatbots, that can be passed back to the customer service representative if customer wants to speak to CSR. If not, and let's say the query has been resolved or something customer has dropped out, that data can be utilized for further analysis. So it's really a good, like an intelligent platform, what we call it. We also have like a business user. So if you want to establish a B2B engine, so business to business shopping experience, that is now possible as well with the Dynamics 365 Commerce. Okay, so I like to play a small video to show what are the capabilities and what Dynamics 365 Commerce can do in action, like right now it's doing at the moment. And I personally have seen that happening in London in Marks and Spencer. And it's brilliant. It's like it picks up, there are AI elements, there are machine learning elements has been implemented to work with the Dynamics 365 Commerce. It actually also tells you, like in a granular level, the camera detects if there's a particular item is not there on the shelf or shelf is empty. If that's the case, it actually alerts store worker that that particular area you need to fill up certain type of drinks, or you need to fill up some sorts of crisp or something like that. It's very, really good. So let's have let's view this video. I'm just going to turn it on the microphone.
Equip your business with modern tools that transform the entire customer experience. Microsoft Dynamics 365 Commerce is a complete end-to-end retail solution built to streamline and enhance every aspect of the modern store, from the sales floor and back office to the e-commerce storefront. Dynamics 365 Commerce unifies your business operations, customer data, and sales processes to unlock efficiencies, boost customer satisfaction, and drive growth. Give your store teams the tools they need to be more productive and deliver more personalized customer experiences. In your Dynamics 365 Commerce headquarters, configure role-specific employee workspaces with no coding required. You can even tailor by device, individual user, or store location. Push changes out with the click of a button, and employee workspaces are updated immediately. Built-in device optimization means employees enjoy consistent and frictionless experiences across PC, tablet, or phone. And because Dynamics 365 is multi-platform, employees can work on Windows, iOS, or Android, and even in a web browser. Store employees log in and are greeted by the dashboard you configured for them, with their most important tasks front and center. Store managers can easily access all the relevant content they need, like inventory, shift and cash drawer management, and more. With all store operations at their fingertips, they can run an efficient store that keeps both customers and sales associates happy. For store associates, the workspace is focused on sales and service. Their Dynamics 365 client book helps them sell smarter and boost customer satisfaction. Powered by AI, the client book quickly surfaces personalized insights about loyal customers who enter the store. Customer cards present information to help associates build lasting customer relationships and nurture sales. Click a card to drill deeper and gain a 360-degree view of the customer, complete with loyalty program status, recent purchases, wish lists, and more, pulled from every Dynamics 365 connected data source, including both the customer's in-store and online shopping activity. Built-in intelligence leverages all this data, empowering associates to make better recommendations that help cross-sell or upsell. Associates can also utilize ratings and reviews to help close the sale. Dynamics 365 Commerce also delivers the endless aisle experience, giving customers and associates access to intelligent in-store product search, where they can quickly see an item availability across all stores and distribution locations. When it's time to check out, sales associates easily jump to the transaction screen to quickly process a sale. They enter product details like size and color. Finally, they choose the payment method and complete the purchase. Faster, more effective sales, happier customers. Empower your teams to deliver modern store experiences that drive sales and customer satisfaction to new heights. Use Dynamics 365 Commerce to take your business to the next level.
Fantastic. So I'm not sure if you have noticed that, the store representative was carrying just an iPad or some sort of tablet and making those cells interaction with the customer and presenting all the intelligent data which are getting presented back to store representative. It makes life so much easy, and also customer will be really happy because we only talking the same language to the customer and say, okay, hang on, you already purchased some of the products in the past. Let's kind of recommend, say, some accessories to go with that, or something we can this intelligent engine can actually predict, saying, okay, particularly those products they have purchased, which is named almost like in a brown in color, or it could be in a black in color, or it's something like that, or some particular brands they are purchasing. All this analysis, if that happens on your fingertip, that would be brilliant. It actually takes you into that area where customer might think, oh, okay, we're reading their mind, which is actually good in one sense, because we could technically sell a right product to the customer in a right manner. So coming to the next slide, where we explain about which are the key channels which are required for the retail. And I'm sure all of you are aware of this and how Dynamics 365 can help. This is what we're going to explain here. So in store, we don't have those kind of green screen terminal anymore. We have very intuitive, very modern POS system. And as I mentioned before, we can now host it into cloud. So that means your infrastructure issues literally gone away. That means if I have a connectivity and I have a authorized tablet, which is obviously controlled by my IT department, then I could simply log into the cloud POS and interact directly. There are certain recommendations by the Microsoft in terms of what payment gateway you could use is out of the box. That doesn't limit you which the payment gateway you need to tie up. If you have existing payment gateway, we could integrate that one as well. But also, excuse me, in terms of the printing or a receipt or what kind of printer we need to connect to, all these elements are kind of given a helping hand by the Microsoft already. But what else you can do with this one is that experience, and specifically in the demo video, you must have seen it. There are all the intelligent details comes into that one. That's a really gold feature. I would recommend that way. So what that in store is, so it's not really a traditional retail like in a brick and now it's moving into all the modern POS and cloud POS. So we have a point of sales application. We got this, it's called commerce store, or it integrates with the cloud scale unit. What that can do is typically cash and carry transactions happens. Online and pick up in store if you don't want to really wait. And so there are complexity comes with that. How can you make sure the store has that product? How can you actually guarantee that this is the date when the customer can definitely pick it up and they won't get disappointed? All this data and fulfillment needs to happen very intelligent and effective manner. So that's something cloud POS and modern POS solves the problem as well. For another slide, I will actually explain how that works in action. But let's go on to the next channel. So the next channel is e-commerce, and I'm not sure if you have read about certain articles published recently, saying since the COVID-19, the e-commerce sale in numbers has grown more than 77%, which is amazing. Because it's literally spiked up compared to 1 year, last year, it has spiked up a lot. And it comes with some challenges fraud can grow as well, and there are a lot of other elements. So fraud has costed industry more than $12 billion US. So that's something is one of the section we're going to actually touch up today as well. So before I go into that one, so what e-commerce store is? So Microsoft is providing a kind of cloud-hosted a website. In a simple language, we call a website. That website connects to Dynamics 365 Commerce and brings or exchange data from that. So product data, product prices, all the inventory data, all these elements that can be actually brought back from a headless commerce engine. So that's kind of really easy integration is available. It's out of the box. There are nothing you could do. And as in explaining the demo, it's no code, low code option available. So that means why I would call it no code and why I would call it low code. No code means the engine is available. You can do drag and drop of the asset. You can upload product images, different colors, different elements, and you just show that on commerce, e-commerce website. But when it comes to low code, that means I want to inject some sorts of scripting to make it even way better. So maybe say I have a carousel engine, but when customer clicks on one of the corner, and I like to capture heat map of it. I like to capture customer's journey using which page to which page customer has moved. So it's an analytical script if I want to implement. Those are the elements I would describe personally as a low code, because there is an element, small element of copying and pasting code, or maybe modifying some sorts of digits or numbers or anything like that. So that's a low code. So that can actually get you up and running with a very intuitive Dynamics 365 e-commerce website, which actually seamlessly connects with your storefront, so, which is called CSU as well. So in an e-commerce storefront connects to CSU, and that's how it makes the journey very easy about the online shopping, buying products online, and also buy online and pick up in store. Now, the third channel, which is a call center. As I described earlier, call center is one of the essential channel for retail, because there are, and particularly in B2C scenario, it's really, really critical, because in that there is a mass we handling with that, and the mass of the customer could have thousands and hundreds of questions. So that to solve that, customer service or call center it plays a very important role in that. What that do, so in Dynamics 365 Commerce, it provides a back office portal where the customer service agent, so CSA or CSR we call it, logs into that system and again fetches all the data from the CSU, or we call it headless commerce, and it actually pushes back into and provides a functionality like call center shopping or customer service. So there could be another and I'm sure everyone aware people do call using a traditional method of purchasing. So yeah, it involves by touching a product, experiencing a product, saying how the product looks like, what the quality is. That happens in store, but some customer do prefer over the phone. Some customer do prefer over the online, and particularly new generation preferring that going into the e-commerce, clicking on all the different areas. Now augmented reality is one of the element is involved. So if I'm selling, let's say a desk, I'm selling a chair, and if I want to see how that looks like in my room, I can actually post that element using augmented reality, and customer can make a feel of it. So if I purchase this chair, how it's going to look like. That's going to be very intuitive. And if we have that augmented reality implemented in e-commerce, that makes customers' life easy, and it increases satisfaction before purchase. So after the purchase, it's a customer service is very, very key element. So that provided by the call center module. And also it opens an interface where customer says, okay, I like to buy a chair, but then also a call center CSR or CSA will be presented with some sorts of analytics if the customer has purchased those products before, or the similar product they have purchased before, or the customer is being very, very loyal. So call center agent will have an option to present saying, okay, if you buy this another product, I'll be happy, I will provide you 50% discount, I will provide you 20% discount, or I will provide you some additional product free. Call center representative or agent can't make that decision themselves. So that has to be made from it's a centrally designed analysis, saying, okay, if the customer does spend X amount of money, I like to give X amount of benefit. Y amount of benefit. So if we define those rules in the e-commerce, it actually system takes care of those notification. It doesn't mean directly give it to customer. We could actually block it, but we can allow another channel to actually pass that benefit back to customer. And the same thing happens in store as well, which is in the video. You must have noticed that in the analysis, it says actually this is a churn analysis, and below that, it's some sorts of what loyalty we want to give it back. Great. So moving on to the next one. This is a little bit technical, so I'm not going to spend more time on it. But if any one of you would like to understand this architecture more in detail, please do let me know, and we will be happy to organize a separate call to actually take you through the entire deep journey about how the architecture is established. Within this architecture, without spending too much of time, just briefly in a minute. So we have the Dynamics 365 website app here, which is a back office and call center employees are connecting to. Here is an e-commerce setting, and that's our in-store experience here. That's where our technical staff who's actually doing this site builder. So they're building up site, but also they're putting the content. So the content author and site manager will be connecting to site builder. And then this e-commerce platform, which has a web storefront where the content management store, digital asset management, because that's one of the things we need to, many customer I have seen, they have a question like, oh, I want to establish this website as a global because my customers are from everywhere. How can I serve my assets better? Because I need to have some sorts of distribution strategy. If my customer is from say US or say in another part, say India, how they can actually access that asset effectively, considering they might have a limited bandwidth. So those are the elements could solve your problem. Also, the content management store, the benefit of the content management, you could actually target customer saying, okay, this customer has built up a good loyalty, so let's put some more offer for them. Where the other customer, same time accessing same web storefront, could have a different content and different kind of offers presented to them. It depends on how the customers are coming from the geography, whether they have logged in and provided the information, or say we could actually do a cookie-based tracking. So if the cookie is still active in the system, we could actually identify and fulfill the journey. Anyway, that's a bit of technical line of it. So here you could actually implement or plug in Dynamics 365 F&O elements, so which is applications like supply chain management, finance, or HR, along with the Dynamics 365 Commerce. And this has really, really impressed me a lot, because the thing is, it's one type of products, which is the Microsoft products. And the second thing is all the different product has a different niche functionality, and that can be benefited by just putting everything together. And in this diagram, I'm not sure if you can read about it's got the common data service and Azure data lake storage, where you can actually do a further analysis on the data. You can store that. You can have the further customer service analysis and so on. So there are a lot of things. Happy to share this in a higher resolution image, because I'm not showing the live web in this presentation, if you can actually really identify each and every element easily. Next slide. Even that's more elements, more and more features available. What this commerce solves the problem. and provides the functionality. So here we have like a unified experience on the top. So in the unified experience, we talked about like a point of sale kiosk. We also talked about the customer service. We also talked about the e-commerce and other social integration. There is a one element, fraud protection. We will discuss it in a little while. But here, campaign management. So something it could be plugged in by using Microsoft Dynamics 365 marketing module, and we could actually push the customer journey, and its customer journey can identify, say, let me give you an example where on the commerce engine, customer have placed an order for shoes, and shoes is a particular brand with a particular color and particular type of nature. Something is different, like shoe has some sort of design. Now I want to complete that journey by doing something, say, cross-sell. So, and if customer has agreed or opted in for the email campaigns, that journey automatically will adopt that from the data saying, okay, customer has bought X, Y, and Z, and this is the nature of it. I want the system to send them automatically email them saying these are the additional product you could benefit, and we will provide you 10% discount on it. And click here to purchase. When they click on that email link, they could go bought back to the e-commerce engine, and they can complete their journey. We could actually, in the back end, intelligently build the basket for them as well if they agree. So if they click on one, say, okay, there are 3 accessories I want to sell. If I click on a button on the email, and when it goes to the e-commerce, by utilizing that offer, I could pre-build the entire basket if there are no complexity about the size and everything, or customer just need to select the size according to their requirement or the color. Once they can complete the seamless journey within minutes rather than spending more time and getting distracted with other product or other elements to it, and they could drop off. So to reduce the drop-off rate, the campaign management could be another element. It could help us. Also, you got like segmentation and profiling. We can actually discuss more technical details maybe later on in another call, where if you are interested, please do let us know, and we can touch base on each and every element, describe how technically it works and how it could benefit your business. So next one, connected e-commerce platform. So as you understood, like and described, it's a native e-commerce channel, rich e-commerce editorial tools. So you can see in the screenshot where I can just click on the asset there and start modifying it. The similar way, if I want to modify content, I can actually see visually where I'm modifying that content and how it's going to look like. Accelerators and responsive rendering. So it doesn't matter if I develop this website for only the computers and browsers. If you access that website on mobile, it's automatically rendered. So it's very responsive. And it's an intelligent experience it gives, as there's an intelligent AI engine behind it. So that actually sort that out. Great. So before I go on to the fraud protection, I'm just doing a quick checkpoint about the time. I think we're doing good. Yeah. So we talked about all the different channels. We talked about how the retail e-commerce, in industry, how the D365 commerce can help you with that. Now there is a massive element is fraud protection, and it's growing day by day. There are lots of other areas the fraud can happen. And that's outside of sometimes even outside of our imagination, because the criminals are becoming more and more intelligent nowadays. So how can we protect our e-commerce business, and also making it sure the customers are not suffering from any element like that? So if customer card has been used for the fraud purpose, we need to stop that before that sale goes through. How can we do that? And how we can earn more and more trust from our customer. So Dynamics 365 Commerce provides an add-on called Fraud Protection, and which is really, really good, very strong, very intelligent. To give you the history behind it, Microsoft developed that fraud protection for themselves first to try out on the Microsoft selling. So Microsoft has a website to sell, like nowadays they're selling Surface devices, and they're also selling other accessories. They're also selling licenses online. So there are fraud protection needs to be in place, else people can use some sorts of like purchase some of the credit card information online. Those criminals are doing it nowadays, hackers doing it. And also, like they're placing those orders and complete the purchase, they download digital asset, and that's it. So Microsoft could lose out a lot because the asset is already gone. So how can we protect it using fraud protection? So just to give you a little bit overview, 3.9 trillion worldwide retail e-commerce is there, and $90 billion fraud losses are happening. And 175 billion fraud related costs are happening right now. So you can see in the heat map, like where it's actually mainly targeted, and fraud losses and related costs are displayed in red. Okay, so where there are possibility of the fraud can happen. Anonymous user, it could block your inventory and unfulfilled cart creation. So that means if someone is there, like just place those product in a shopping cart, obviously just for the fulfillment purpose, you might need to block that inventory. But there is a genuine customer who really interested in that product, and they might get the message saying like, okay, hang on, we run out, or it's out of stock. We don't want that to happen. And that could happen if someone like, say, for example, a hacker actually targeting your website and say continuously sending requests, automation requests. Nowadays, there are a lot of automation tools are available free of charge. People can just like, for the fun, they just like even put in to say like how that works. And that could actually build multiple basket with multiple items, and it could block your inventory. How can you protect that? So that's like, and also they can do page scraping, they can do DNS attack. So that's anonymous user. The other one is account creation. People can again use that automation script to create fake accounts and synthetic identity. There is another area which is account login, where like they have a social engineering. It could like compromise other people's account by doing the phishing attack. Sorry. Brute force attack or bot attack, and by doing that, they can actually compromise genuine customers' account, and that could happen because you, as an organization, not going to protect in every individual customer's PC. So they get compromised, and that means your system can get compromised as well, because through that username and password, we have opened up certain features to improve customers' experience. So we need to be very, very careful on that as well. Account activity. So it could be unauthorized profile update. So like, the hackers can actually do a phishing attack, get access to their authentication detail, and change their email address or change their, say, shipping info. So when the customer actually orders it without their notice, if our system is not very intelligent to tell them this is your delivery address is going to be, or like say hackers can actually perform the end-to-end like shopping experience, but let's say we providing an offer saying, okay, you can store your credit card details. So they could actually, by changing the shipping info, and place an order where the customer will pay for it. So that kind of like, that's again a bad experience for the customer, because it's not, customer will think like, okay, the retailer is not providing the security for my credit card stored information. It could happen in many cases, like, in a different scenarios. So account activity must be monitored, and any kind of fraudulent activity must be flagged in effective manner, or it could be blocked. If you are like if you are talking to your networking guys, you must have heard that intrusion detection system and intrusion protection system. It's something similar that. So we want to detect the any kind of attacks or any kind of fraudulent activity, but also we want to prevent it as well. So that's a fraud protection can help you with. Again, the purchase is another element where the payment fraud, reward fraud, they could utilize their loyalty points. The hackers can actually use like refund mechanism, or even some customers could actually use a refund mechanism where if your system is not intelligent enough, say for example, customer has purchased a product with the discounted rate, but when they go and then request a refund, the price has changed to the full price. We could, like in a business, could lose money. These are the very simple example I have given, but there are very complex examples are available as well, where system and the human to struggle to actually identify those ones. So where that's the reason Microsoft has developed this fraud protection service to actually adaptively learn. So it actually actively learning new attacks and making that themselves really, really strong. So day by day, it's a kind of a machine learning, you could call it. And also, it is a shared service. So for example, retailer A has one of the fraudulent activity, and it's got they using the fraud protection as well, and retailer B using a fraud protection as well. Now, with the experience of retailer A, and that's been detected by fraud protection, that could utilize that scenario to protect retailer B as well. So in, say, for example, Microsoft has hundreds and thousands of customers using this. One retailer might have that experience, but other retailer could benefit of it. So what we're saying, hopefully that's not you will have that attack or that kind of experience. But if someone else had an attack on that related or fraudulent activity, your business could benefit from that. So you are already ahead of the game in terms of the protection. And the post-purchase, so friendly fraud, return fraud, again, parts replacement fraud. So they could be have like other product, but it's something that refunded with replacement with the some kind of another product or something like that. So there are sorry, 1 second. Supposed to go on that one. So we the fraud protection has actually categorized into different elements. So it's called account protection. That involves like anonymous user account creation, account login, and part of the account activity. And the purchase protection and loss prevention happens on this area. Because when it comes to the account protection, it doesn't mean there is a financial loss at this stage. But mainly when it comes to the purchase, that's where the financial losses must be prevented. So that's where the purchase protection and loss prevention is very beneficial. So also we need to understand, before we continue with the further element on the fraud protection, there is one element we must understand, that these Dynamics 365 Commerce also gives you the benefit of distributing the engine globally. So you're not actually establishing a separate infrastructure. Because it's hosted using Dynamics 365 Cloud, Azure is behind the scene. You could actually easily scale that to work for the effective different regions as well. So that actually diagram explains how it can be distributed, where your buyers resides, where your cashier resides, or there could be e-commerce channel effective in this region, call center located in a different region. There might be another store in say in this region where the cashier and register is there. So that is very, very easy to distribute and scale up. So how TDeX can help you? So in that one, I would say how the process we follow and what kind of elements we do, in terms of what kind of services we provide as a TDeX in Dynamics 365 Commerce or any other implementation. So a typical implementation process includes number of steps. So we normally follow LCS. That setup is provided out of the box along with Dynamics 365 Commerce. So as soon as you place an order about the license, you get that LCS access to it, where you put down your configure your custom setup there to make sure, like, what are the checklists you need to go through, and what kind of elements you or the task you must complete. So what TDeX can do using that licenses and element, we can complete the analysis, how your business processes works. We can draft that into some sorts of like a documentation based on what we agreed. So design infrastructure readiness. We can actually check what are the infrastructure elements, or what are the infrastructure you are currently using can be reused, or can it be reused. So that's that sorts of analysis we can complete. We do system configurations for you. We do system customization. Sure, not everyone looking for out-of-the-box implementation. There is always some sorts of customization needed to adapt your business processes. So that's something we can provide the service. We also do the data migration, because that's another key element once you go live. Obviously, your existing system has good amount of data, and how that can be effectively migrated to your new system if you're not using Dynamics 365 Commerce or any other Dynamics products at this moment. We can also set up add-ons and do the configuration. So that includes, say, payment gateway. Out of the box, there are a list of payment gateways are supported, but you have a different payment gateway already in place and you like to utilize that. We can actually help you set this up. We can perform the system testing and help your users to performing UAT. We can actually train those users up. We can train the trainer, but we can also train end users. We also do the go live deployments and support, and after go live, we can actually provide the support as well. So for the next slide, let me hand over to Mark. Mark, are you still there?
I am still here, Narayan. Thank you very much. Okay, so what does it cost? So we are running a promotion for this this webinar. These prices are over 50% less than our normal prices. So it depends, obviously, what size of company, what kind of retail organization you are. But the likelihood is that at the very least, and the core of the D365 Commerce is Commerce HQ, that provides your payment gateway, your shipping services, and it will give your customers the omni-channel experience, connecting your physical stores with your online presence. And we are challenging ourselves to get you up and running in 4 weeks at a cost of just 50,000 dirhams. Okay, so this is a one-time offer, and our extended offer, as Narayan mentioned, has includes e-commerce and fraud protection. So these are two separate modules which you don't have to take initially, but can be added at a later stage. Maybe you have your own e-commerce store currently, which we can connect into Dynamics. If you don't, then as you saw, the e-commerce store is excellent. And for the extended, we allow 8 weeks and 100,000 dirhams only. Okay. Of course, we can do additional custom work according to your requirements. Now, these prices are not including the licenses, so of course we can provide that information depending on how many store agents or how many people that you want to use the system, and we can take it from there. But really, any questions on licensing or cost, please direct them to us. Okay, so Junaid, can we open up take everybody off mute and see if we have any questions from the floor?
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining. Thank you so much for attending.